Today I'm looking at something a bit different. Today I'm looking at California. Oh, California, the alt-left capital of the United States. And I do mean alt-left. Some of the people here are just as fringe and just as crazy as the most extreme elements of the alt-right. And I'm talking mostly about the center of the state. The northern part of the state is usually pretty rational, as is most of the southern part of the state until you get to the larger cities. But the main focus of absolute insanity is going to be San Francisco and Sacramento, which unfortunately houses the capital of the state. So you'll get things coming through their Congress that they don't always think through. For example, right now, approaching the state Senate is Assembly Bill 2943. Let me bring this up on the screen here. Now what this does is changing a couple portions of the Civil Code, most notably down here 1770 and 1761. Now 1770 involves the unlawful or unfair acts and practices of sale, lease of goods, services. It's basically saying this stuff is banned. And what they're banning here is advertising, offering to engage in, or engaging in sexual orientation change efforts with an individual. So we have to go back up to 1761 to see what sexual orientation change efforts means in this context. And I've highlighted a section here. This includes efforts to change behavior or gender expressions. There's an or statement after that, but the way it's written, the or statement after it is a separate thing. This portion right here can be used on its own. And herein lies the problem. Now, this bill has already been in the news as being touted as the Bible ban bill. That's not going to happen. The Bible doesn't specifically have anything involved in sexual orientation change efforts, so that's not going to be the problem. The problem here is the language that they're using is going to target more than they want to target. The way this has written, this will hit many LBGT organizations. This possibly could even hit several gender reassignment therapies. Now, they're doing this specifically to target the anti-gay conversion therapies. They're trying to make those illegal. They're trying to make the very notion of it illegal, which I already disagree with. I am not a proponent of these therapies, but if somebody wants to engage in them, that is their choice. And it is their choice. They are free to leave, and if they're not free to leave, then other laws are being violated already, and you don't need to make specific ones for it. However, California has decided that no, the gays must be protected at all costs, including at the cost of hurting the gays. This will come back and bite them if this is put on the books. Because any law that can be interpreted in a way like this will be challenged in the courts like this. Now they have the second part here to eliminate and reduce sexual or romantic sexual attractions or feelings toward individuals of the same sex. And there's already some tricky problems with that language there, in that they are writing a discriminatory law. They are writing it against federal protections for sexual orientation. This is not well written. This is going to hurt people. And this is the kind of thing that we see coming out of California and other places. Progressives are in such a hurry to make protections and make changes, and they don't think about what their changes mean. We've seen this a lot with, for example, recently on Facebook, where a bunch of women who had protested against men feminists who were saying negative things like, oh, all men are this and that, were finding themselves banned on Facebook, and they were flipping out, going, well, what happened? These rules were supposed to protect us. They were supposed to protect us from these people. Why are they being used against us? We've seen this with all female screenings of movies that have been sued. There's been supposed talks of all black screenings of Black Panther that, again, would be hit with these discrimination lawsuits because they are discrimination. You cannot just discriminate against men or against white people or any other ethnicity because you think that they're the ones that are being unfairly advantaged. That is still illegal. And the way this is written, trying to push people or even help people come out as homosexual will be banned. California, get your act together. Be careful what you do. This is a thing that all progressives out there need to stop and consider. What happens when somebody comes into power and these laws are on the books, but the people who come into power disagree with your ideas? Now, I know you're looking at California and going, that's never going to happen there. Ronald Reagan came from California. It can happen. Now, you may not think that Ronald Reagan would abuse this, and I would probably agree with you that he wouldn't, but there's going to be someone who does, or can, or will, and it is entirely possible that they can get elected, even in California, and this will come back to hurt you. This is a bad law. Do not let this pass.